The MLB playoffs are set, and I'm here to give you my prediction. Hello, my name is Avery Taylor, and in this video, we'll be going through every series and predicting the winner until we get to the eventual World Series winner. Hope you guys enjoy it, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting with the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Cincinnati Reds. I feel a bit bad for any team that had to go against the Dodgers here in the opening round. I just think that the Dodgers, they are just way too loaded in terms of star power, in terms of how good this roster is, and just they've been playing decent baseball as well. They have rebounded quite nicely on their pitching staff that had a lot of concerns early on in the years, and they're going to pretty much wipe the Reds off the map. Now, the Reds, they do have some good things going. I love their pitching staff. Green Lodolo, and you're going to have Burns, making more of an impact later on in his career. This is a good unit to build off of, and it's really great that they made it to the postseason, but I just don't see how they can beat the Dodgers. It is a smaller series, so there is a chance, but I just don't think they can beat the Dodgers here. Moving to the other wild card series, we had the Padres versus the Cubs. This is going to be a really interesting series, but also one that might not be as hyped up as it was in like April, May, something like that, whenever both of these teams are really firing on all cylinders. It feels like both of these teams kind of muddled their way into the playoffs. Not to say they're playing bad baseball, but it's kind of mediocre baseball down the stretch from both of these teams. The Cubs offense has kind of disappeared, at least from where they were. They were like one of the premier offenses in the league. Pete Crow Armstrong took a step back. Kyle Tucker was injured a lot down the stretch, and they just weren't quite the same offensively. The pitching staff has been solid despite some injuries to Justin Steele, and they also had an injury to Cade Horton late in the year. But their pitching staff has rebounded nicely, but I just think the Padres, they've been playing slightly better baseball down the stretch. Their pitching has still been very good, accompanied by that elite bullpen, and their offense has been quite a bit better over the second half of the season. So for that, I'm going to give it to the Padres, moving on to the divisional round. Focusing on their matchup in the National League Divisional Series, they are versing the Milwaukee Brewers. We all know the Brewers are this collection of misfits that have kind of come together and just played really good baseball all year long. That didn't stop in the second half. They were really good in the second half as well. The last month or so kind of been mediocre. We'll just say what it is. Only 15 out of their last 30 games have been W's, but their pitching, offense, it's both been incredible all year long, and especially here in the second half. I'm just going to give the Milwaukee Brewers the bump into the National League Championship Series. For the other National League Divisional Series, it is an absolute shame that this series will only be 5 games long, because oh my goodness, we need a 7 game series between this Dodgers team and the Phillies. This is going to be the battle of the Titans, and honestly, if rules were bent, I could watch this as a World Series. Like, this is an incredible matchup here in the divisional round. There's not much separating these teams. Both have really good lineups top to bottom. Both have a really good pitching staff. Both, have some injuries to that pitching staff. With the Phillies losing Zach Wheeler, it is going to be a blow, but I think they will pull it out because they've been playing slightly better baseball across the second half of the season. A lot of these playoff performances that you see a lot of teams rising up is teams that are really hot coming into the playoffs. And no team has been as hot as the Philadelphia Phillies in the second half of the year, other than the Cleveland Guardians. So I'm going to take the Phillies in this one. It's not by much. This is going to be a really fun series, and I do wish we could have it for 7 games. And then in the National League Championship Series, we get the dream matchup between the Phillies and the Brewers. This one, not much separates them in terms of the stats. They're ultimately both really good pitching staffs top to bottom. They both have really good lineups top to bottom. They've both been playing great baseball. The Phillies have been playing a little bit better over the last 30 days, but all in all, it's not much separating these two clubs. And ultimately, I think it's going to be the stars of the Philadelphia Phillies that push them over the edge and into the World Series. From one scalding hot team to another, we have the Cleveland Guardians moving over to the American League Wild Card Series versus the Detroit Tigers. This is just the matchup of one scalding hot team versus one ice cold team, and I don't think there's much of a conversation here. The Tigers, I love them in any game that they play with Skubal, but other than that, I don't know that they will win a game. Like, truthfully, I don't know what happened to this Tigers team, but they really lost their mojo across the second half of the season, and the Guardians are just playing really great baseball right now, and I'm going to take the Guardian. Another ultra fun matchup that we're going to get is the Boston Red Sox versus the New York Yankees. Again, this is one of those matchups where not a lot separates these two teams. They've both been playing pretty good baseball across the second half. The Yankees are one of these teams that's just scalding hot, though, and I think that's going to ultimately carry them across the line. I like what the Boston Red Sox have building, but I think without Roman Anthony, that lineup starts to get a little bit static, and I think they lose up a little bit of their X factor there. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the New York Yankees, who have just been on fire. Following the New York Yankees, they'll take on the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League Divisional Series. The Blue Jays have played pretty good baseball all year long. That offense has just been on fire pretty much season long, and in the second half, they've been the best offense in baseball. Pitching has been a bit of an issue for this team, and I think that will ultimately be their undoing. I think the Yankees, their offense is absolutely loaded and has been just on fire as well. And I just don't think that that matchup is really great for the Blue Jays, which sucks because of their previous postseason struggles, but I think the Yankees are going to take it again. Moving to the other divisional series game, we have the Seattle Mariners taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Both of these teams have been playing excellent baseball, and both of them have continued that over the last 30 days as well. There really isn't much separating them in that regard. I'm going to take the Mariners here in this series just because I think they're more complete of a team. Whenever you have two teams that are both playing exceptional baseball, I think the more complete roster should probably prevail. The Guardians' offense just really has struggled, even when they were performing really well across the second half of the year. They're only 27th in OPS as a team, so I just think Mariners, they're a more complete team. They're going to go ahead and take this series. And that leaves the American League Championship Series, which will have the Seattle Mariners versus the New York Yankees. Ultimately, this matchup is very close. Both teams are playing well. Both teams have good pitching staffs. Both teams have good offenses. The Yankees' offense is a bit better, and that's what's going to prevail them across in this series. They're going to make it to the World Series for the second year in a row. I'd also like to announce the return of Rebuild October. If you're familiar, this is year 2 of us doing this, where we rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So whether you're looking for your favorite team, whether you're looking for just how every team will approach the offseason, this is the series for you. We're going to be doing this every day across the month of October. And as an added benefit for watching and subscribing, for every subscriber I gain across the month of October, I'll be adding 50 cents to my wife's Christmas budget. I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's go ahead and get back to the video. And ultimately, that culminates in the New York Yankees versus the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series. At this point, you're kind of splitting hairs over what you prefer. The Philadelphia Phillies and New York Yankees both have really loaded rosters top to bottom. Pitching staffs are incredible. Lineups top to bottom are incredible as well, both playing really great baseball in the second half and pretty much all year. There really isn't much to take away from these teams. This is just a matchup that you just pick who you want. And ultimately, I think the Philadelphia Phillies are set up to win the World Series this year. They have a really stacked roster. They have a really good pitching staff. And I just think that top to bottom, they should be able to put this across the line finally and win a World Series for Philadelphia. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave your predictions down below. As you know, this is just for fun. We're not going to be right on all of this. We're going to be wrong in some spots. So, just have some fun with it. Leave your predictions down below. And as always, I hope you guys